Introduction to Exodus. Author Moses. Date written between 1450 and 1400 BC. Time span approximately 431 years. The period of time from the arrival of Jacob to Egypt to the construction of the tabernacle in the desert. Title. The word Exodus means to exit or departure. Background. The second book of the Pentateuch. Exodus is a continuation of the story in the book of Genesis. Only 70 descendants of Jacob have journeyed to Egypt, but after increasing abundantly in number, they become oppressed as slaves to Egyptian leaders who do not remember Joseph, Jacob's son. During the next 4 centuries, the people grow to a nation of some 3 million before their exodus from Egypt begins. Where written, the general belief is that Moses received this revelation while on Mount Sinai in the wilderness. To whom? To the Israelites. Content. Exodus begins with the descendants of Jacob living in slavery to the Egyptians. Moses is called as and directed by God to lead the Israelites out of this bondage. Israel is finally permitted to leave Egypt after God directs Moses to pronounce a series of plagues on Egypt and the Pharaoh. The Passover is instituted, emphasizing the blood emphasizing that blood redemption is always necessary, chapter 12. And the resulting covenant between God and the Israelites identify them as God's chosen people. God then delivers Israel miraculously through the Red Sea. At Mount Sinai, God gives the Ten Commandments, but later has to judge the people for their autopsy and worship of the golden calf. Chapter 32. A few months after this, the tabernacle is constructed. Key words: deliverance, redemption, commandments. The deliverance of the people of Israel from their oppression as slaves is just one of the many miraculous acts performed by God for the complete redemption of his chosen people. The Ten Commandments and other laws given to the people other laws give the people the instruction needed to live in as God desires. Theme: God's protection and provision are available to his children in times of need. Obedience to the word of God brings prosperity and blessings. Disobedience brings failure and punishment. Part of our covenant agreement with God is that we trust and obey him in return for God's deliverance and salvation. God's promises can be depended on totally and uncompromisingly. Outline. Number 1. Israel's bondage and Moses' preparation is found in Exodus chapter 1, verse 1 through chapter 4, verse 31. Number 2. God's redemption of Israel from Egypt is found in Exodus chapter 5, verse 1 through chapter 15, verse 21. Number 3. Israel's wilderness journey to Mount Sinai is found in Exodus chapter 15, verse 22 through Exodus chapter 18, verse 27. Number 4. God's covenant and the Ten Commandments is found in Exodus chapter 19, verse 1 through Exodus chapter 24, verse 18. Number 5. The tabernacle and related regulations are found in Exodus chapter 25, verse 1 through Exodus chapter 31, verse 18. Number 6. Israel autopsy is found in Exodus chapter 32, verses 1 through 35. And number 7. The renewal of God's covenant is found in Exodus chapter 31 through Exodus chapter 40 through 38. May the Lord add a blessing to the introduction of the book of Exodus.